Welcome to the SciFi Pubcast. Come for a drink, but stay for the speculation. Today we are discussing The Wars. Yes, finally the day is here. We're talking Star Wars. Most specifically, we're looking at Star Wars animation and the TV shows. See, the last episode of Star Wars Rebels aired a few weeks ago, and there's much speculation on what is coming next. We hope Lucasfilm won't clone itself. So grab yourself a drink. We hope to draw you into the discussion. This is the SciFi Pubcast. Greetings, welcome to the SciFi Pubcast, the podcast that tries to be a pub, and perhaps someday a pub that tries to be a podcast. I'm looking around the bar right now, and who do I see? I see Carrie Simpson. Carrie, say hi.
Hi.
And looking back towards the kitchen, and oh no, he's here. I see Derek. Derek, how you doing?
Greetings. I'm great.
Oh, good.
We're talking Star Wars, so I'm delighted.
Excellent.
Yeah, how is it we've got this long without talking Star Wars for an entire hour?
Through Joel's sheer intragnisance. Is that a word?
Oh, we'll get into that.
I have no idea what you just said, so
intragnisance.
I think you're just making shit up now.
Yes. And I'm Joel Welch. I'm the publican, the bar owner. I'm the business owner of this fine SciFi Pubcast establishment. As you can see, I need to hire more staff or better staff. Oh, well.
Hey!
Except for Carrie. Carrie's good. I'm talking about Derek, of course.
Don't make me come over there.
All right. Carrie, anything new happening in your life?
No, not really. Just, working, gaming, working, reading.
Yeah.
Same old shit. Basically.
Yeah, I can relate. I'm working nonstop right now, and I'm looking forward to having another vacation. I don't know, someplace warm where it actually has sun, not hidden behind rain clouds, that type of stuff.
Well, don't come over here right now. Then it's been raining off and on all week. It's supposed to rain even more next week.
Terrible, and
not terrible. We actually need it, and I think Mother Nature's trying to be nice to us. Considering we're over here trying not to roll back regulations and stuff, but we won't talk politics.
Yeah, let's not. And just for our customers' sake, Carrie's located in the Los Angeles greater area. How's that?
Yep.
Is that a thing? Because I can't even say like the Greater Toronto area.
Yeah, greater Los Angeles area. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
okay. Which is located in California, apparently. I just learned that the other day. No. Okay.
Yeah.
And Derek, how you doing,
Yo.
Derek? What's happening with you? What's new in your world?
I'm already planning my next Disney vacation.
Okay, are you going to where? Paris for it, or are you going to Shanghai?
No, Disney World.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You really think he would spend You really think he would spend the money to go to Paris?
I actually do. I mean, it is on my bucket list, but when I'm a millionaire, not now.
Yeah, and it requires a passport. Okay.
Oh, I got to get that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you really think he would spend the money on a passport?
No,
Yeah.
I have to get a passport because after October, Pennsylvanians can no longer use a driver's license to fly because of some government regulation.
Oh.
The damn government again, trying to make air travel safer. Okay.
It's more like because the state of Pennsylvania did not meet some kind of requirement for something or other. So.
Yeah, I guess your IDs don't meet. Your new IDs don't meet certain requirements. I have to renew my driver's license in a few months, and fortunately, California does meet the standards. So yay!
Must be nice.
There you go.
Yep.
Yes. And Derek, I ought to ask you about this. How's the kitchen doing?
It's doing great. In honor of the ending of Star Wars Rebels, we have a new special, the Hera Burgers. It's bright green meat.
Right. And which is
I don't want to know.
Well, all you have to do is leave the meat out unrefrigerated for a week or two, and it just turns bright green on its own. So it was really easy. You just have to scrape that weird fuzz off it, and it's good to go.
It's actually quite a good thing that people can't find our physical location to serve us with legal documents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Statement of claims, that type of stuff.
For regulatory purposes, we don't have a physical address.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Grimwald Place. It's it's like between two numbers for legal reasons.
Yes.
I can't even.
And actually, it is like platform 9 3/4 because when you come here and eat the food, you'll be transported away to a magical place.
Otherwise known as what? The afterlife?
I wasn't going to say it.
Well, you come down eventually from it.
Great. Now we can philosophical.
There's no returning from the afterlife. Something I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't die, Carrie. You just trip out a little bit. Jeez.
This is what happens, I should say, when we're recording a show on an afternoon when everyone is sober. My God. Yes.
And it's St. Patrick's Day, too, as we're recording.
Yes.
We still be drinking, but we're not.
Yeah, that's later today. And you're listening to this probably a week and a half after. So, we have this production schedule where we get a show out every 2 weeks. And since I'm traveling next weekend, I got to record today. So, happy St. Patty's Day. Belated.
I had a lot of Diet Pepsi at Taco Bell, if that counts.
Oh, God.
Ew.
But we're not talking about Taco Bell, thankfully, today. We're talking about Star Wars animation and all the different animation in Star Wars, but especially Star Wars Rebels, which only a few weeks ago had its last episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so awesome.
We hope to draw you guys in. So, draw? Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it's our first dedicated Star Wars related show, which is amazing.
Finally.
Because how I got into podcasting was through Star Wars fandom. And we haven't touched this since we started the SciFi Pubcast a good 9 months ago.
Yeah, what's wrong with us?
It's just because we didn't want to compete with other podcasts, and screw it.
Right,
We're talking about Star Wars, right?
Sure.
Whereas me personally, I want to talk about nothing but Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. We can turn the Sci-Fi Pubcast in one of the hundreds of podcasts out there dedicated to Star Wars. We already have a great listenership of maybe 3, so we can probably increase that to at least 5.
Is the three of us?
Yes, perhaps. Okay. So if you want us to change our format, please tweet at us and let us know. Oh, God. All right. We are talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen Star Wars Rebels especially, perhaps this is a good time to hit the stop button on your podcatcher and go out and catch the last episode because it's a good one.
Not just the last episode. Go back and watch all 4 seasons.
Yeah, why not?
If you haven't watched the show, you should start that. Get on that.
Yeah, we're going to discuss everything. So if you haven't seen it, tune out.
Right. Let me start this way. I'm of an age where I was a very young child when the films came out, the original trilogy. And I actually remember Star Wars, the animated Droids series. Droids? Mm-hmm. 1985, 1986.
I remember that and Ewoks. I did not miss either of them.
Yeah, I'm still not a Ewoks fan. I actually hate Ewoks. I want them to all, become meat for Derek's.
Joel.
Oh, sorry.
You remember who we employ as our security staff, right?
Right.
They do understand you.
That's a very fair point. Yes, it's all this human rights stuff, and the whole rights business. Now we have to serve droids, and we have to serve Ewoks in our bar. Oh well.
I actually have no memory whatsoever of either of those animated series. I don't know if I saw them as a kid or not, but to my knowledge, I've never seen a single second of them.
That's because you're younger than the two of us.
So I'm just reading the information online. Apparently, it's created by George Lucas. Pause.
Well, technically everything created by George Lucas.
Of course. Yes. So it was good for the time period. R2D2 and 3CPO and all that. It was enjoyable as a kid, I suppose. But with me, I'm always like in my adult life, I'm always about realism. So I just can't. I have a hard time enjoying animation that's designed especially for kids. So it took me a bit.
You have a hard time with 80s cartoons, then.
Yeah, nah, but I was a kid in the 80s. That's okay.
That's true.
But for instance,
but we're talking now.
yeah. Well, for instance,
Now you have a problem with 80s cartoons.
Yeah, okay, maybe that. Yeah. But why I'm bringing this up is that it took me a couple years just to get into the Clone Wars. And I'm not talking about the original one from 2003 to 2005 that was on the Cartoon Network. I'm talking about the one that Dave Filoni and the gang at Lucasfilm really put in some amazing work over 6 seasons from 2008 to 2014.
So you're not talking about the microseries?
No. Which is good by itself. I saw that later on after it aired, and that's okay. It's just, for me, Star Wars is all about live action. And just over the course of maybe the last 6 years, something like that, I actually got into the Clone Wars, the Star Wars Clone Wars, the Dave Filoni one, quite heavy.
Yeah.
I just found the first season especially was, God, Ashoka, just grow up, you stupid little kid. Okay.
I know
she
was
terrible.
annoying at first.
To be fair, the first season of lots of things, are kind of rocky.
Yeah,
that's like par for the course.
Yeah.
You could definitely tell they were finding their way in the first season because they start out with that great Malevolence trilogy, which is, kind of like the greatest hits of Star Wars, going into a Death Star-like mechanism and a big super weapon and General Grievous. And they quickly realized that they couldn't just do endless episodes about Grievous and Ventress and them getting away, that they had to branch out and tell other stories.
Well, they also had to make sure that Grievous and Anakin never met.
Yeah, that was annoying too.
Episode 3. I think that became somewhat of a running gag.
If only they didn't have that one line in the movie, they would have been fine.
Hindsight and all that.
Yeah, I just don't like whiny people. So it's even like The New Hope with Luke Skywalker. Man, whiny Luke is the worst Luke.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you don't like whiny people, you must not like Luke or Anakin.
Yeah.
It does run in the male side of the family.
But the Clone Wars...
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it happens.
It's okay, Carrie. I hate men, too.
I think with Clone Wars, it really hit its stride in about season 3. And I think the last season, from season 3 to when it ended at the end of season 6, there was so many great episodes. And I like the fact that they got into some more serious topics. They got about the whole notion of freedom fighters versus terrorists, for instance. Or they got into more aspects of what the Force is. So it was really, at that stage, driving a lot of the new Star Wars lore, and that's amazing.
Yes, yes. That's my favorite part.
Clone Wars definitely had some really amazing episodes. Unfortunately, it also had a lot of bad episodes. So I love the show, but the very nature of the anthology series format, I mean, it was kind of all over the place for me, because you'd have amazing things like Mortis or Cad Bane or the Darth Maul arc. But then you'd also have things like 4 episodes about droids on a desert planet. And it's just like, ugh, can this be over yet?
I like the droids on the desert planet. It could
you
have
like that one?
It could have been like maybe 1 episode shorter, but I actually like that.
Well, see, that's the problem. After, I think starting with season 3, they started doing the 4-episode format. And the problem with that is if it was a storyline you didn't care about, you were stuck with it for a whole month. Instead of just, 1 bad episode, it was 4 bad episodes. I wish they had changed it up more.
Well, see, this is the advantage of having binged it. I got through that in like 2 hours.
Yeah, that would have helped.
But it goes back, the droids in the desert.
That's true.
We're not 7-year-olds watching it with a 7-year-old perspective on life. I think it's kind of fascinating. There's droids, there's pretty colors, and they're interacting. Oh wow, it's tough. it's tough watching animation as an adult.
No,
Not for me.
No, it really isn't.
It depends on animation. And with me, it eventually made me suspend my disbelief. Where I watch it constantly now. Anything new, I'll watch it. So,
You just have an old soul, Joel, whereas I'll always be a child, so I have no problem watching kiddie stuff.
Yeah. Well, if it's not black and white film, I don't want to watch. No, just joking. Okay.
And of course, the other problem with having these prolonged episodes of other people is that I'm always wanting to get back with Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. So if they're doing 4 episodes about droids, that means 4 episodes without any of the main people in it.
Yeah, but you also got to see some of the other Jedi and stuff like Yoda and I can't think Mace Windu and
Mace Windu.
Yeah,
Ayla Secura.
Kit Fisto. Yeah, I need more caffeine, obviously.
Yeah, I did love the fact that we got to see so much of the galaxy and so much of the war. I just always kind of missed it when we got away from our main characters for so long. That was the nice thing about Rebels. We were always with the same people, and I like that consistency. Because when I was looking at the episode list, sometimes you wouldn't see Ahsoka for like half a season almost. And when you look at it all together like that, it's like, wow, she was gone for a really long time. And she's kind of the main character of the show.
Yeah. The other thing about the Clone Wars is that it didn't really respect a timeline. It jumped around.
Yeah.
In the first couple of seasons, I think after season 3, it just settled down to be linear.
Yeah.
It's still not that linear because you would have people getting killed at the season premiere, and then then a few episodes later he would be back in time before they were dead and stuff. I know there's a chronological list around somewhere. I just keep forgetting to take a screenshot of it.
Yeah, when I did my big rewatch of Clone Wars, I watched it in chronological order as opposed to air date order. Mm-hmm. It's really not that big a deal. I mean, there's basically a few outliers that, I think there's a season 3 episode that is actually taking place before the movie and things like that, but it's mostly in the right order.
Mm.
What I quite enjoy about the Clone Wars, and it's going back to the whole being a kids thing, or at least appreciate it from that point of view, is that you have this short, 22 minutes per episode, something like that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always a theme or a moral lesson, and they say it with the slogan at the very front of the show. And I quite enjoyed that, right? Because it's on point.
Uh-huh.
And that's something I miss, say, in Rebels, because Rebels is a different show and doesn't do that.
Well, occasionally they get into like lessons, but there's no like overarching theme to the episode sometimes.
Yeah, it's not like a narrator comes on and says, fear can conquer anything, or without fear is, well, it's stuff like that.
Yeah, it's silly, but okay. But it's the stuff we got used to as kids, Joel. The lessons at the end of cartoons and stuff.
Yeah, because no one's half the battle.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny you bring that up because
the requirement that everything has to be at least partially educational.
It has to be didactic. Hopefully, I'm saying that word right. Okay.
It's funny you bring that up because I actually forgot that Clone Wars opened with those little cookie cutter Chinese cookie fortune sentences.
Fortune cookies?
Fortune cookie. That's what I was trying to say. Because I always remember Clone Wars as being darker and more adult than Rebels was. Mm-hmm. But then they do kind of have that obvious theme line opening. And
then one day, the Clone Wars came to an end. And they released, a lot of the episodes that were halfway done. I remember being at a celebration where I saw some of the rough cuts, and they were excellent.
Yeah, those were fun.
And now we have Star Wars Rebels. So at least we did for the last 4 years. What do you guys think of Star Wars Rebels?
It was really good. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved Rebels too. It had different strengths and weaknesses than Clone Wars had, but I love them both dearly. I think I might give the edge to Clone Wars, especially when you look at the production designs, because if you watch an episode of Clone Wars now, after watching Rebels, it is markedly better. They had so much more money to spend on the animation, and it did have a larger scope. But like I said before, it was nice to follow a single cast of characters and to bond with them over time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
And I love the story and where it went and all the characters. I do wish they connected with the rebellion a little bit more, but I loved it.
Yeah, but yeah, I understand why they didn't connect with the rebellion a bit more. But it would have been. I think if they had been allowed to, run the seasons a bit longer, maybe we could have gotten something like that. But who knows?
It was especially bad in the first season because they weren't in the rebellion at all. And it just kind of felt small and trapped on this, relatively uninteresting planet of Lothal. So I loved it much more in the second season when they joined the rebellion and they started going to other planets and Ahsoka was on the cast. That's still my favorite season.
Yeah, but that first season was, trying we're getting to know the cast, we're getting to know the characters.
Yeah. And
you wanted it small before they started branching out. But yeah, that's all I needed to say.
Yeah, there was another whiny kid at the beginning of season 1. I hate whiny kids.
And then he became less whiny over time.
True. He became a bit more cynical and grown up and all that stuff.
Well, he was already cynical.
Yeah, true.
I liked Ezra. I thought he was a good main character. And I especially like the fact that he did have a brief dalliance with the dark side, but they didn't go too far with it, because we've already seen that with Anakin and Kylo and Darth Caedus. So I'm kind of done with seeing, heroes going into the dark side slowly. So I'm really glad that they did it a little bit. He had his temptation and he learned his lesson before he got too far in.
Yeah, he was kind of like Jaina that way. He danced with it, but then he course corrected.
I like the fact that Filoni brought in a lot of the characters from the Clone Wars, and such as Darth Maul, and he was a key figure in some of the storylines within Star Wars Rebels. And then there's the fact that even legacy characters that's now canon, Admiral Thrawn, that was excellent.
Yes, I love Thrawn. I love that Thrawn was part of this show. He wasn't as Thrawn-like as he probably could have been, but it's a kid's show, so I mean he can't be full evil genius.
Yeah,
it was also a shame that have you both read the Thrawn novel?
Yes.
I haven't.
love the Thrawn novel.
I haven't yet. It's on my to-do list.
I'll be
get on that, Joel.
There's a certain revelation about what Thrawn is actually doing, working for the Empire, that was really fascinating, and they never referenced it at all on the TV show, which was really disappointing for me. So I won't say what it is.
That wasn't his. But that wasn't his focus when he was during Rebels. And that might be something else that's going to be explored later, especially since we have no idea where he and Ezra are.
Yeah. I definitely hope they reference it in the hypothetical next series, which I hope they're working on right now.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we know they're working on a series. We just don't know whether it's going to be the Ezra and Ahsoka and Sabine and Thrawn show or not. I hope so.
I would not object to that. No. Hello?
Did Chopper pull a plug? Know how to get it back in?
Yeah, we were talking about Thrawn and some of the tie-ins with the novel and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Chopper. Dave Filoni did the voice of Chopper, and he credited himself in the last episode of the series.
Yeah, and the credits for the last episode, they finally admit what we basically suspected the entire time, which was that Dave was the voice of Chopper.
Which is excellent.
Hey, everybody tried to do a Chopper impersonation. Joel, you go first.
No. Yeah, I think it was pretty much suspected from the beginning that was Dave Filoni, and they fight when they finally admitted. That's like, oh yeah, we all knew that.
I was just listening to Skywalking Through Neverland, and they were talking about how he told this little girl at a convention, he whispered it in her ear when she asked him, and he asked her to keep it a secret, and she didn't tell a living soul for the year or two until it finally became public a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's perfect. Have you guys seen David Filoni in real life?
I have. I saw him in an airport a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was actually. We were actually on the same plane flying from Oakland to Burbank.
Was he wearing his hat, his trademark cowboy hat?
No, he was not. Which is why.
And how'd you recognize him?
Because I have seen him. I have seen pictures of him. You know, the hat doesn't. It's like the glasses with Clark Kent. You know, you take the glasses off, it still looks like Clark Kent. Take the hat off, Dave Filoni, it still looks like Dave Filoni. But yeah, he wasn't wearing his trademark gear, so I didn't say anything to him.
Yeah, I had a similar experience.
It's probably my bad, but yeah, whatever.
I saw him outside walking with his wife of the British Museum in London, England in 2016, day before the European celebration happened.
Nice.
And I recognized him because I'm good at recognizing people. And I say, "Oh my God, it's Dave Filoni!" So I took a picture of his back walking away, and I posted it to Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. It entertained me at least. So. But
I can't remember if I actually saw him in person at Celebration or I just saw him on YouTube clips of panels that I didn't get into.
The year before, when I was in Anaheim for the big celebration, right before The Force Awakens came out, I had VIP passes, the first and only time at these celebrations, and me and my brother. And I got to meet Dave Filoni.
Oh, awesome.
And talk to him for about 10, 15 minutes.
What did you ask him?
We were talking about his love of wolves. He took a trip, I think, up to the Northwest Territories in Canada for some sort of wilderness camp where he saw gray wolves in the wild. So, and we're talking about Pittsburgh, and of course we're talking about hockey for a bit because he's a big hockey guy.
Mm.
And he did because of this VIP thing. It's very costly. I'm not sure if I would do the VIP experience again, but it was fascinating meeting Dave Filoni. Just chit-chat about wolves and hockey for a bit. And we got a free piece of artwork which he signed, which was really neat. Because he signs his name, and if he likes you, he draws this stormtrooper head on the print itself, so which is really cool.
Nice.
And the print is Ashoka and it's I think it's Rex, both on these huge wolves. And they're underground. They're like the guerrilla fighters right now. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think I've seen that print.
Yeah.
So did he like you enough to do this helmet?
Of course he did.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm likable. Come on, Derek. I think I am. No.
Do you really want the answer to that?
No, I don't. Okay.
I'm kidding.
Well, what do you think the next show is going to be? We're getting a live action show.
I don't
but
know.
What's the next animated show?
I don't know. I suspect it might be something to do with the Resistance, but I could be wrong.
That's the buzz on the internet. It's all about Resistance, but who knows?
Now, when you say Resistance, do you mean sequel, trilogy, era Resistance?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Before the Rebels finale aired, I really wanted it to be Han, Luke, and Leia right after Return of the Jedi, fighting the remnants of the Empire, forming the Jedi Academy. But after the Rebels finale, I definitely want to see a show starring Ahsoka and Sabine searching for Ezra and Thrawn out in the farthest reaches of the galaxy. That would be amazing.
That would be awesome, yeah.
Yeah. I love Ahsoka. I feel such a connection to her after, watching her for 10 years and seeing her grow up. And it would be so cool to have a series starring her directly as an adult now.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, I'm just thinking what type of series I want. It's hard because I like the dark stuff, and you can't get too dark with animation where it's going to be aired and shown to kids.
Well, at least not anymore. I mean, there have been kid shows, quote-unquote kid shows, that have gotten pretty dark. At least there were some in the 80s that got kind of dark.
Yeah,
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but
Yeah, there's torture, there's executions, there's corruption, there's war crimes and genocide. Yeah, that's all in Star Wars, the Clone Wars.
Right.
For a bit of it, it was in Star Wars Rebels as well.
Yeah, but a lot of it was also off camera too, so you didn't actually see it.
Yeah. I just don't think that there's going to be a Star Wars version of Fritz the Cat from the early 80s adult animation. Oh, forget it.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, me neither.
Is it like NC-17?
Yes. But,
boy.
Yes, moving on. I'm just trying to think of a time period I enjoy. I always enjoy the original time, like trilogy stuff, but I'm one of the older generation types. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be in line with the new stuff they're doing.
Yeah, I can see that. I would like to see something done in like the Old Republic era, but I don't know that that's going to happen either.
Yeah.
I actually wonder if they're making 2 animated series at the same time, because Dave Filoni is the head of it's an animated division, so that sounds to me more than this show and the Little Forces of Destiny clips. It sounds to me like they're franchising it out even more. So maybe we'll have one that's the Ahsoka Sabine show and one that's a Han Luke Leia show.
Or one that's a Resistance show.
Yeah, that too.
From what little we've seen of the post Return of the Jedi stuff, it sounds like Luke has pretty much disappeared from most of the post Return of the Jedi era type stuff. So who knows what the heck is going on over with that.
Yeah, but that was over 30 years. So maybe the first 5 years he was still with Han and Leia, and this series could be those first 5 years, something like that.
Maybe. I don't know though.
Oh, the other thing about doing a sequel era show is that I think that would be problematic to do, because you can't do a series before The Force Awakens because they didn't really fight with the First Order. Prior to that, it was kind of like a Cold War. And as we've seen in the Poe Dameron comic, they had minor skirmishes, but nothing open. And you obviously can't do it between Force Awakens and Last Jedi because there is no in between it. And to do it set after The Last Jedi, that would, the thing is, I know that J.J. Abrams just turned in the script for Episode 9, but obviously doing a series set in the years between 8 and 9 would be dependent on having 9 locked down in stone, and 9 is still up in the air, and they've been working on this new animated show for probably the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
so they really couldn't have been doing a show set after Last Jedi because they didn't know what was going to happen after that.
Well, see, that would be a good argument for why it would be post Return of the Jedi, and maybe not necessarily focused on Han, Luke, and Leia, but focused on Sabine and Ahsoka going to find Ezra. Anything else that's going on in the galaxy, maybe bring in some stuff with like Rogue Squadron and stuff like that. I would love to see them do more with Wedge and Hobby and whoever else they decide survived the Battle of Endor.
Are you talking about?
I really want them to bring, full disclosure, I really want them to bring back Wes Jansen because he was awesome.
So when you're talking about doing an X-Wing type show, do you mean immediately after Return of the Jedi or 30 years after in the sequel era to call it Resistance?
I think after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, that's what I would think too, because I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but to me, we know that they copyrighted Resistance across a lot of things. But to me, if you're going to call something Resistance, that has to place it 30 years after, and that you couldn't do an immediate post-Jedi show and call it Resistance, because now Resistance means the First Order, period.
Well, there's lots of connotations for what Resistance could refer to that could be strictly post Return of the Jedi, but who knows? I'm sure they have a plan, and I'm sure the plan is a good plan. I hope. I hope it's.
I want a cage match between the Ewoks and the Gungans. I understand live action is too expensive, but in animation, I think it's possible.
My money's on the Ewoks.
You think? I know they're tricky little bastards with large teeth, but yeah.
Well, one advantage the Ewoks would have is that the Gungan weaponry is about disabling electronics, and that wouldn't do any good against Ewok spears and traps.
That is a very good point. But also I have to say that my money's on the Ewoks because I employ them.
Yes.
They're my security task force for the bar, so I need to be on their side.
Yeah, they like what they do for a living, so yeah.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
They do really like making sure everything runs smoothly around here.
Yeah. It's hard to believe. We're talking about Star Wars Rebels. We're talking about the new animation TV series whenever it's announced. We talked about the Clone Wars. Let's go back to the original Clone Wars, the micro series.
Yes.
What was your impression of it?
I liked it. I didn't much like the other Clone Wars, the series. I didn't see it right away. My recollection is my roommates at the time we sat down, watched the last few episodes of the micro series, and then went directly to go see Revenge of the Sith, because the end of the micro series basically fed right into the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I think just at that time my bias against cartoons kicked in, so I'm not a great person to comment on the original Clone Wars cartoon series. And
I love the micro series.
I haven't seen it in years.
I love the micro series. I probably saw Samurai Jack prior to that because it was made by the same person. I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but it's Genndy Tartakovsky, I think.
Genndy Tartakovsky.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll freely admit that the micro series is basically just superficial action scenes, but they're just so well done. It's just so enjoyable. And I also really love the 2D animation style. I'm not a huge fan of 3D animation. I mean, I like Pixar movies and whatnot, but when it comes to superhero TV shows, I definitely prefer the hand-drawn artistry of 2D. So I love the look of it. I wasn't crazy about the 2-minute episode format, which is why the second half of it, which was done with longer episodes and basically was a direct prequel to Revenge of the Sith, I enjoyed that one a lot more because it was actually able to have a story. And I especially loved showing the Battle of Coruscant and showing Grievous being a badass back before they decided to make him a coward. It's pretty amusing to see how drastically different the Grievous of the micro series is compared to everything else, because halfway through the production of Revenge of the Sith, they decided to make him, a wheezing coward who was always running away.
But you got to see why he was at least wheezing.
Yes.
In the micro series,
because
that was all. Yeah, that was a very good reason for why he was wheezing. Mace Windu is a very good reason for lots of things.
But yeah, I love the micro series. I rewatch it all the time. I have the DVDs, even though they're impossible to buy anymore, because once they announced the CGI series, they basically pretended that the micro series didn't exist and they stopped selling it anywhere because they didn't want brand confusion.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it. I think it's great. And I would love it if one of the future Star Wars animated series was 2D again. Maybe they could do one 2D, one 3D.
Yeah, that could be cool.
That's a sight to see. Well, guys, if I ask you to pick one character from any of the animated TV shows as your favorite character, who would that be?
Any character from any of the animated shows?
Yeah.
Oh, this is easy. It's always my favorite character, which is Yoda.
Okay, interesting. And you, Derek?
I will have to go with Ahsoka. I mean, Yoda is my favorite character. Yoda and Sidious are my favorite characters overall, but specifically for animation, definitely Ahsoka.
This is funny. This question tells a lot about who we are as a person. It does. My favorite is, of course, Hondo. Hondo Ohnaka.
I love Hondo. Hondo is so much fun.
He's good too.
He deserves his own TV show. Okay.
Do you know that he's going to be a character in the Star Wars lands at Disney World and Disneyland?
No, I did not.
He's actually. Awesome. I don't know how they're going to do it exactly, but he is part of the theme park. I don't know if they're going to have an actor in costume or what, but he actually exists within the reality of what's the planet called? Batu?
Yeah, right. I think it is.
That will be awesome, and I hope. I wonder if Jim Cummings will be voicing any of his stuff.
Yeah.
The world needs more space pirates. Just saying.
I agree. I actually would love to see Hondo make an appearance in the Solo movie, but I don't think that's going to happen.
And people keep saying they want to see Kanan sitting in a bar in the background in the Solo movie. That
would be really awesome too. Kanan and or Hera sitting in a bar, sitting in the bar somewhere on the planet. I mean, those kinds of Easter eggs are always fun. Maybe K2SO wandering around somewhere.
I'm so going to spend a lot of money down in Florida. And, of course, in Anaheim. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to go and make more money. Hey, you and
me both.
Yeah, I think I'm going to play the lottery this week. I have a feeling.
Good luck with that.
Right. Well, let's wrap this up. Any last words on Star Wars Rebels or the Clone Wars or any other animated TV shows?
If you haven't watched any of them,
what's that?
Go do that.
Yeah.
What was your question, Derek?
Did we talk specifically about what we thought about the finale of Rebels?
No. What did you think?
No.
Go right ahead.
I loved it. I thought it was very satisfying, more than I thought it would be. Really.
Yeah, it was. I was expecting to cry more than I did, because I was expecting a lot more death and destruction. I know this was a kids show, but I was expecting a lot more people to die than did. I also because I know Dave Filoni is a big Princess Mononoke fan, and that's why he brought the wolves in. Part of the reason why he brought the wolves in for Rebels, but I very much appreciate calling in the pack to help with the fight against the Empire.
Yes,
that was awesome.
Yeah, it's neat. Wolves and owls, very important in symbology. Symbology.
Right. Well, my best friend's also a very big wolf lover, so having very large puppies come in and dismember stormtroopers was awesome on so many levels.
Right.
And the World Between Worlds episode, that was amazing stuff. I mean, just hearing all those quotes from movie characters within Rebels was so cool, and introducing the concept of this place. Oh, and also Ezra saving Ahsoka was my all-time favorite moment, because obviously, like I said, Ahsoka's my favorite character from the animation, and I've been waiting for her to come back, and he saves her from Vader, and she's back in the show. I was so happy when that happened.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And also, of course, having Ian McDiarmid as Emperor Palpatine, that was the icing on the cake. I love that.
Yeah, I love that they've still been able to get all the voice actors back to do voice parts. That's been awesome. I was also a bit disappointed because I was kind of hoping to see a cameo from Cassian and K2.
Yeah, me too. And also we never got to see how Saw was injured.
Yeah, I don't know that that could be an interesting anthology, maybe animation series, basically, something that fills in some of the gaps. Like what happened to Saw, what happened to Cassian and K2 before they joined up with Jen and stuff like that.
And I also like the fact that it finally gave a good explanation for why Lothal was important and why we should care about Lothal and why the Empire kept coming back there, because the Emperor was after this portal to a world that would give him control over time and space. That was good stuff too.
Yeah.
Yes.
How cool was it to hear Ian McDiarmid say Ezra Bridger and Ahsoka Tano?
Yeah, that was fun.
Good. Well, we should take a moment to respect the people who's fallen and take a moment of silence for Kanan.
Yes.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, moving on.
Okay.
I was actually surprised that he died there. I'm apparently the only person in the world that didn't see it coming, because
I totally saw it coming.
Well, yeah, but they just changed his model at the beginning of the episode and gave him the haircut. So my reasoning was there's no way that they're going to kill a character off right after they changed his appearance because it costs money to change the model or what have you. Yeah, and also the next episode was called Doom. So I thought, well, he's got to be alive in the next one because his name is in it. That
was the funeral. Yeah. Kind of, sort of.
Yeah. And speaking of funerals, I was really glad that they didn't kill Ezra and that they just kind of like had him lost somewhere at the far reaches of the galaxy. I thought that was a perfect way to remove him from the story without just killing him.
Right. That was good.
Yeah. And of course, we already talked about it, but I love the idea that now those characters are going to have to go searching for him because he's lost somewhere.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And I also thought that the final episode was really good because after A World Between Worlds, I thought, okay, so that was their Mystical Force episode. So now the finale is just going to be a normal, straight up conventional fight. And I thought, that's fine. That's what they did with 0 Hour. Well, not really because Bendu was in that as well. But I kind of expected just a straight up battle for the last episode after that. So they surprised me pleasantly by having the Emperor there with another aspect of the portal to the world, so that Ezra did have another weird, trippy Force moment in the finale. I was very happy with that.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool.
And it was really cool to see the Emperor, making the good guy fake appearance. I always think of Lord of the Rings when Sauron would take the form of, I forget the name, but he took the form of like a beautiful elven lord to fool the other people and mask his true horrible visage. So I love the fact that the Emperor did that as well, trying to seduce and fool Ezra. And it was a great moment for Ezra because even though he's just a kid and he's brash, he learned his lessons over the course of the series and he didn't give in to the temptation of his parents. He knew enough to walk away from it, which was a great culmination of the character's journey.
Yeah, that was cool. But also, at least as far as Palpatine's concerned, I mean, from what I've been able to gather from what I've read in the comics and the books, so that was kind of like his public appearance for most of the galaxy is the nice old man,
right,
thing, and then only his inner circle knew what he really looked like. So that was interesting the way they played that off.
Fantastic, guys. But we should wrap this up.
Yes.
I got more Clone Wars episodes to watch right now.
Yes, you do.
Be sure to watch Mortis. That's the important one.
Yeah. That's one of my favorites. So, for the SciFi Pubcast, you can find us on Twitter at SciFi Pubcast. Our network is When Nerds Attack, and you can find that at Nerds Attack Pods on Twitter. Facebook, yes, like us on there, and of course, the network page, When Nerds Attack. Leave us a iTunes review, or what is it now, Apple Podcasts review? I'm so behind. So behind. If you want to send us an email, I know it's old-fashioned, whole emails. Well, you can. All you can do is email at management@scifipubcast.space. Carrie, what's your Twitter address?
My Twitter handle is Carrie Blackfire42. That's KERI Blackfire42.
And Derek?
At Derek JBB.
Cool.
Be sure to follow me. I need more friends.
Yes, you do, Derek. Yes, you do. Okay.
Oh, boy.
The When Nerds Attack podcasting network has a Patreon account, and things are happening slowly but surely. So go check that out. Besides that, that's it. We're closing. It's closing time. Please make it home safe, and we'll see you next time at the SciFi Pubcast.
May the Force be with you.
Bye.
Bye.
Music provided courtesy of Logan Rathbone. Podcast logo by G-Ren. Copyrighted Joe Roach. Listen responsibly.